Alright, welcome back to Sauron Takes On! Unless you guys haven't seen the first videos, in which case, they're linked down below. But, we are taking on the Five Nights at Freddy's series. How fun is that? Alright. And yes, this is going to be a review on Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Ironically, we've gone back in time. See, the way I figure it is that I got a check, sure. I'm pretty sure the check was just a hallucination, okay? Because, what a weird coincidence, but not only are we back in the past, in 1987, we're at the exact same dates that would transpire in the first game on that check. That's a bit unusual, isn't it? Just a tad bit. Just a little odd. Well, at the moment, looking at the new establishment, it's clear that there aren't any blast doors to protect my sorry, but there's new animatronics. The old ones are chucked away in the back. Except I'm pretty sure I see them moving, so what do I know? This is going to be one hell of a ride, isn't it? 11 animatronics. I'm counting them. 11. 11. And the worst one has got to be the freaking puppet. Oh yes, there's a puppet-like security guard that pops out and says hi to children. And if you don't have music calming this thing down, oh, it comes after you real quick. It guns for you. It's very problematic. But I don't really have much of a choice. If I'm going to figure out what the heck happened with the bite of 87, I got to deal with all of these animatronics. So without further ado, let's take on the puppet! So as always, let's start with the plot. There's actually a bit more plot this time around. Instead of just working at a haunted fast food restaurant as security, you're working at a haunted fast food restaurant as security while things are actually going on. The phone guy, instead of being a recording, is actually talking to you this time around, and he does talk about some of the events that are transpiring, including disappearing children, the possibility that the day shift security guard is killing people, and the idea that the animatronics are perfectly fine to the children, but don't really like the adults. Definitely a lot more context here. However, there's a bit of a theorization here going on as well. I'll talk about that in a bit. But, yeah, definitely more plot, definitely more little Easter eggs and secrets for you to sink your teeth into and, plug in. And you do learn a lot more about the lore. Again, most of it secrets and side quests, but there is a bit more plot just right there. So, I'm going to talk about that a little bit more later on down the line. But yeah, basically this is where the purple guy was killing kids using a spare suit in the back. Very interesting indeed. Moving right along, we have the characters. Jeremy Fitzgerald's. I'm pretty sure that's not his actual name, but we'll get into that in a bit. Let's not jump the gun, shall we? We also have the phone guy this time around. You get a bit more personality from him, but not too awfully much. I mean, he's going to be dead by the next game, chronologically anyway. So, yeah. Phone guy. Not that much of a character. Let's talk about the animatronics, shall we? We have the toy animatronics. Oh yes, they're Bonnie, Chica, Freddy, and you also have the puppet. Bleh. As you guys may or may not know, the puppet is a pain in the ass. Oh, and you also have the Mangle. and Balloon Boy. Oh, what fun. Let's begin from the top, shall we? Toy Bonnie likes to come at you from the right side vent. A little bit opposite from the regular Bonnie, but we'll get into that in a second. He'll come in. He'll look real close at your mask if you manage to put on your mask. Or he'll just kill you. Chica likes to come down the hallway a bit and scare you like that, but then comes down the left vent. Chica also has a tendency to lose her beak, so you just see her toothy grin, which looks absolutely terrifying. For some odd reason, you rarely ever actually see her eyes, too. Believe me, that Chica in the picture, the poster, don't get used to that. And then you have Freddy, who also has a tendency to just show the blacks of his eyes. He comes at you straight on from the hallway. And then he just enters your office and you got to throw on your mask. Good luck. You have Balloon Boy, who doesn't actually physically attack you. He just somehow makes your flashlight malfunction. And then after it does, well, something comes in from the dark and attacks you. I'll give you a little hint in a little bit. But, yeah, there's that. Having your flashlight not working is not a good thing, believe me. And then you have the puppet, who leaves you alone unless you're not winding up the music box, in which case the puppet will fly at you no matter what you're doing. Gotta keep that music box wound up. And then you have the old animatronics. They're a bit withered, but they're still there. They look terrifying. And they certainly look a bit odd. Not that there's anything wrong with being a bit odd. All joking aside, however, Bonnie comes at you through the left vent, Chica comes at you through the right, and Freddy comes right down the middle. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Oh, and then there's Foxy. Foxy won't get fooled with the mask, very similar to the puppet. What you have to do is you have to flick your flashlight at him. Which is why Balloon Boy is a pain in the butt. Because if he gets into your office, your flashlight is disabled. Foxy will kill you soon afterwards. Believe me, it happens. And then there's Golden Freddy. Instead of being a little Easter egg that you can find, Golden Freddy on night 6 takes the offensive and will just try and kill you as quickly as he can. That's not fun either, believe me. All in all, the characters function perfectly fine. They function perfectly well. They all work towards gameplay standards, but they're there nonetheless, and their designs are excellent. I actually love the withered animatronics. They're terrifying, but really fun. But let's take a look at that gameplay. How are you going to survive this time around? Last time you had blast doors. This time you have open ventilations and a giant gaping hole in the wall that animatronics can walk through. So this time around, you cannot stop animatronics from entering your office. There's no possible way to do that, as you could probably guess. The only way to really get things done is to have the animatronics leave you alone. And the only way to do that is to switch from your camera to a Freddy Fazbear mask. Trick them into thinking you're another animatronic, they go away. The way to do this is that, well, there's this little button down below. When you scroll your mouse to it, it opens up your camera, just like the last game. But this time, there's also another button right beside it. That leads to your mask. You have to flip off your camera, and then flip on your mask about as quickly as humanly possible, because Bonnie, Chica, Freddy, and Toy Freddy enter your office while you're looking into your camera. You can't stop them from doing so. They will be standing mid-office, and you have to put on your mask as quickly as humanly possible to fool them. If not, you die. Bonnie, Mangle, who I forgot to mention in the characters for some odd reason, He's easy to deal with. He basically is just a really creepy looking version of Foxy. Yeah, for once the toy version is the creepier one. And he comes through your vent on the right side. Pretty easy to deal with though, because you can hear him as soon as he enters your vent. But, that aside, Bonnie and Mangle enter through the vent on the right side. If you check the right vent, you can actually see them. You can hear the Mangle even. And you flip on your mask, they eventually leave. Unless, of course, you have your mask off for too long, in which case Bonnie will jump scare you and the Mangle will get onto your ceiling. And eventually jump scare you. The Mangle looks terrifying, believe me. On the left side, you have Chica, well, Toy Chica, and Balloon Boy. Balloon Boy, like I said, will steal your flashlight if you don't stop him in time, and Chica will again jump scare you. Balloon Boy laughs, though, so he's, again, easy to cue up audio style. There's also a little flashlight that you have. The flashlight does have a certain amount of battery, but I never ran out throughout the night. You can use the flashlight in cameras to see what's lurking in the dark, or in your hallway. There's plenty of animatronics that will show up in your hallway, but you really want to work on Foxy. Because if you don't flick your flashlight at Foxy by pressing Control, he'll jump scare you, whether you're wearing the mask or not. And last but not least, there's a little camera in the prize corner that has a little added button. You press the button, you wind up a music box. It's rigged to be controlled remotely, but you have to have your camera on the puppet just to wind up the music box. That music box gets faster as it winds down each night. Meaning you have to really watch it every night. Particularly in the final nights, you really have to look out. You fail this, the puppet will emerge from its box and come after you. And it doesn't care if you're wearing a mask either. All in all, though, this is certainly a lot more manageable than the first game. And even with the random crap that you have to deal with that'll kill you every now and again, it happens a lot less here, where random numbers and random scenarios cause your death. In the last game, it happened a lot more. So, hey, there's a plus right there. Let's talk about the design of the building, though, shall we? Since there really isn't much for actual level design, basically the building entirely is funneled right towards you. The rooms look good, which is nice, and the game is designed to be somewhat fair. There are a few times when the music box is lowering way too quickly, and if 5 or 6 animatronics come to your office all at once, you have a problem. But for the most part, if you lose, it kind of feels like your fault. And there's certainly definitely less problems than the last game, so there's a plus there too. All in all, everything's designed pretty nicely. So let's move right along to secrets and side quests, shall we? Okay, there is a lot to go over here. Let me describe what my theory is to this whole mess. I believe Jeremy Fitzgerald is Michael Afton. Oh yes, William Afton was the playable character in the last one, and I believe Michael Afton is in this one. There's a few reasons for this. One, Golden Freddy is often associated with the term "it's me" in this game. Now, why would Golden Freddy be saying "it's me" when none of the other animatronics have? Except for maybe Foxy in the last game. Oh, there's something that happens in the 4th game that suggests what's going on here. Also, Jeremy Fitzgerald is most likely the Bite of 87 victim. He starts work in the daytime, right before the store closes, and nobody's talked about the Bite of 87 victim yet. And the store is closing really close towards the end of the year. And since it's an adult that probably gets the bite, And it would be just justice if this was Michael Afton now, wouldn't it? I'm pretty sure that Jeremy Fitzgerald is the victim of the bite of 87. And I believe that the idea that he lives is a heck of a lot more important than we let on. But that's beside the point. You get a lot of details in this game, and not just from the main storyline. If you die in the game, every now and again there's a chance that you can play a random mini-game that gives you some insight as to what's going on with the animatronics, including trying to save dead-bodied children that you can't, Foxy running in to see a large amount of dead bodies and becoming rather twitchy because of it, all of the dealings of the purple guy, and the fact that you can actually see the purple guy, aka the murderer, aka William Afton, which we know from later games. And you can even see the creation of the puppet and Golden Freddy. And it's the puppet that caused these animatronics to possibly be haunted. And it's William Afton that's possibly altering the animatronics to begin with. There's also a few secrets here and there. There's some paper pals in one of the rooms that you can see on camera. And every now and again, these paper pals end up in your office. Scary, isn't it? In the parts and services room, where all the old animatronics start out, there's a chance you could see a Shadow Freddy. I didn't in my playthrough, but he does exist. You can also see a Shadow Bonnie in your office, as well as JJ, which is weird because it looks like a female, or rather pink, version of Balloon Boy underneath your desk. I didn't see any of these occurrences, but they do happen here and there. Can you explain them? Well, maybe I'll try my luck at explaining them in the next game. JJ, however, I have no clue. Hats off to you if you can come up with a reasonable explanation as to what the hell JJ actually is. But that's beside the point. All in all, there's a lot to find here. A lot less hallucinations and certainly more physical evidence as to what's going on, but there's still a lot of mystery to unravel here. Overall, I think Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is a more approachable experience than Five Nights at Freddy's 1. If you're starting out the series, there's actually nothing wrong with starting out with Five Nights at Freddy's 2. The gameplay is less random-oriented. It makes the game a bit easier, sure, but there's definitely some challenge to be had here if you're looking into it. There's plenty of secrets and side quests, but the story is a bit more concrete this time around, too. So, yeah, there's plenty to sink your teeth into if you're that big mystery-busting game theorist whatever, but there's also more of a relatable story going on here, too. All in all, I think Five Nights at Freddy's 2, again, is a bit more of an approachable experience, an open experience. If you're just getting into the horror, survival horror, point-and-click genre, or if you're into it already but you haven't gotten into Five Nights at Freddy's, I honestly believe that Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is the best place to start. I'm not going to say it's the best game of all time, and I'm not going to try and say that it's the best game in the series. Again, I'm not necessarily a big fan of the point-and-click survival horror. But if you are, I think Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is definitely more approachable than Five Nights at Freddy's 1. With that being said, it gets my rating of 10 out of 10. Wait, did I just copy somebody? Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is a fantastic experience if you're looking into the survival horror. Especially if you want to get some mystery going on, if you want to get the point and click going on. It's a good time overall. That being said, guys, I've had enough of Five Nights at Freddy's for today. Adios, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care, my minions. Well, I have that mediocre check again. And I got a few more robot parts and things like that. The problem, of course, being is that all of these parts that I'm getting from scrapped robots, what could I possibly be doing with them? I have a particular goal in mind while exploring the Five Nights at Freddy's universe, and I haven't quite found what I'm looking for. Perhaps I can go into the future, sell these robot parts as antiques of some sort. Maybe I can find what I'm looking for. I hear there's a particular horror-based theme park attraction in the future. 20 years to be specific. Maybe we can look into it. Maybe I can find what I need. But until next time, take care, my minions.